Hey, what's up everyone? Aubrey Trades here and welcome to another trade recap video. Now that we got our little confession out of the way, we're gonna go over this week's performance and check out our best and worst trades. So, ended the week personally pretty good. I mean, we made $369. Pretty, that's probably one of my better weeks I think that I've had. So definitely not mad at that. If we'll go over to trades view, you can see the biggest winners were here on KTTAW 482.90, followed by ISPC 132, and then we got some stuff here in the middle, and then biggest loss 291.26. So pretty good ratio here, not mad at it at all. Looking at the intraday P&L swings, mostly pretty good, like Friday in particular, love this, small drawdown to make a big P&L swing. Here on Wednesday, green the entire time, even though it was a $30 day. But what's a little distressing is Tuesday, where we had this big swing down, almost $800 before shooting up and ending around $200 green on the day. 188, I think specifically. So we're gonna go dig into the charts. Back to the trades view. We'll start with the biggest loser first, which was APVO, 291.26. Now, if you'll follow me into the charts here, we'll look at APVO from earlier this week. We'll go to a 10-minute chart, and we'll do the show trades feature. That way, it's real. There it is. Perfect. So took APVO in the morning. This uptrend was looking really good. I was also in the middle of my KTTAW trade, and it wasn't looking awesome, so I thought I'm going to put some in APVO as almost like a hedge, but not a hedge, just because if APVO was going to work and KTTAW wasn't going to work, then I wanted to be part of the move. And then I ended up cutting it here about 20 minutes later at 9:26, which was my cut signal personally is when the candles fall underneath this moving average cloud, and that is the 13 EMA line. So I did what I needed to do, which was cut, and KTTA was starting to work. However, I did miss out on a lot as this came back. Didn't have any capital to take advantage of the renewed entry, which would have been around here, or here if you caught it early. But when it got the VWAP test and succeeded, the ideal entry would have been here around that 1080, 1090 zone, which then ended up going as high as 2208. Sad I missed out on it, but it is what it is. Now moving over into KTTAW, which was a $480 something winner. I took this here. Now, this is the one that had the big intraday P&L swing. I did not handle it as well as I could have. My entries were not ideal. And that's partially because I was too focused on a 1-minute time frame as opposed to being on a 10-minute time frame. So I entered on, go to this 1-minute chart here. Oh wait, I need to extend the time frame here. 10 days, 1 minute. There we go. Boom. So I ended up entering here on these dips on the 1-minute clouds, thinking this was going to push up here. And then, kind of got caught in this dip. And the only reason I felt enough conviction to hold through all of this was because looking at how that panned out on the 10-minute chart, which is here in this corner, we didn't break beneath this zone yet. So I was all right letting it play out a little bit. And then I took an ad here when it recovered, which was a big ad, and then ended up selling into this push at 124, left a lot on the table as this ended up going up to 159. So there's a couple takeaways for myself I want to illustrate here. Is one, I want to not focus so much on 1 minute time frames, especially I don't know, it just seems like a lot of times the 1 minute stuff, what looks like a big rug pull on 1 minute charts, like if you look at the higher time frame, it's just a bit of a pullback. Now this is not clean at all. Like this is some crazy price action, but had I been looking at the 10 minute charts for the entry zone, then I would not have even taken a first position entry until this second candle coming down into here, and then this would have shown itself as a nice ad spot as well, and I would have felt way more comfortable and probably even held this a little bit longer. But because I took the early entries here thinking that this was going to be like just continue higher and not chop around so much, this was very, very nerve-wracking to hold through, but it ended up working out. So that's my big lesson on that one. And overall, just I'm trying to get away from the 1 minute charts, focus more on the 10 minute charts, and plan my entries based on that. I mean, even looking at the 10 minute chart here, you could have plotted this out as a trend break entry and then just gotten here at 110 and gotten in for this push. Just something to think about. Next biggest winner was ISPC. Boom, 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 boom. Right here on Friday, which ended up being a $140 winner. Taking my entries here in pre-market, because let's go into the 1 minute charts and see how I was thinking on this, right? So I got in here on this trend break, 10 shares, thinking this was going to be my overall like entry into the open, and then didn't sell this spike because I was looking for a little bit more. Grabbed 10 shares on this pullback here, and at this point I'm also looking at the 10 minute chart. Like by Friday I sort of had this in my head a little bit better, right? So I'm going to pull the 10 minute chart here in the corner. So I have this in my mind, right? So we got this pullback and we're still in the 10 minute cloud. So I take the ad. So now I got some at 1835, some at 19, and then I end up selling. I take a couple more ads here, 1866, 1808, and then sell into this bounce push, because at this point you had this second double top here on the 1 minute chart. So I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, it's holding up on the cloud system on the 10 minute chart, but I'm going to take the safe exit, the 1860 out, easy, small win. Definitely, could have held a few more minutes and gotten 1940s, which would have been a better win. But at that point, I was more convinced that we were going to see more of a drawdown. And then when it recovered, I took an early entry here, which lesson, again, I know I'm historically about 10 to 15 minutes early on a move. So I started scaling in a position here when it popped over VWAP and built in on these dips, took some shares here, took some shares here, took some shares here. Then I was about done. And then when we popped back over, I took the sell at 1885, which was so premature considering this ended up getting up to the 2460s. So there was still like 10 more minutes of above VWAP chop. And this actually would have been the safer scalp entry zone up here. So if I had to boil lessons into this, I would say that I, one, could afford to wait for my entries. Usually when a bullish development occurs and I first notice it, there's a larger window of time before the move happens that I'm anticipating. So I need to be aware of that and just say, oh, that's interesting. Let me, put my hands up a little bit and see how it continues to develop, see if I can get a better entry price. I do find that scaling into the entries has helped me tremendously. Using this, the EMA system has helped me stay in through some of these chop zones a lot better. Whereas previously, I would be cutting and taking the loss and then the move would happen, 20 to 30 minutes later. I'd be like, ugh, I didn't have to take the loss. So, those are big improvements, but definitely need to work still on the patience. But what can you do? Again, I'm not gonna be mad. I mean, I had a good month. I mean, we made $369 or whatever. So, and we're kind of back to break even over the last 30 trading days. So I've pretty much mostly undid the big $600 loss I took on LIVC. And now coming into the last couple of trading days, I'll be happy if I tread water. I'm not going to go for any like big swings or whatever unless an opportunity presents itself. That is, nice and ideal. But yeah, so that's that. That's the weekly trade recap. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you got value out of this video, please hit the like button, consider subscribing, and leave me a comment down below. Let me know what other types of content you want to see from this channel. I'll be back later with a watch list, and I gotta make some other videos. Maybe I'll go into the cloud system a little bit more. Anyway, that's all I got. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.